What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to Drop the Mitts Hockey Podcast, Episode 6. We are with Boston Bruins forward Marc McLaughlin. Mark, how are you doing, buddy?
Doing well. Thanks for having me on.
Awesome, man. Yeah, so happy to have you. How's the off season going? How many times? How much? Like, how often are you skating?
Been in the gym every day at Warrior, which is obviously great for me because being a local guy, being able to be around family and friends and also be able to be with the Boston trainers is awesome. And then we've had some good skates going on at Warrior and, in different areas of the city as well. Probably like 3 or 4 times a week, I'd say for now. And then you start kind of ramping up as you get closer to camp starting, which is roughly around September 20th normally. Or at least that's when it started up last year. So
Yeah, obviously we saw you on the ice last night for the 3-on-3 tournament. It's amazing to see you guys, how skilled you guys are in such a small space and just the level of talent. What's it like playing with all those guys in that tournament and in the 3-on-3 and here locally too?
yeah, it's cool. One of the good things about growing up in New England is that there's so many great players in this area. So and obviously a lot of pro guys stick around here to be in the city. But yeah, so it's good. It's great competition. The 3-on-3 is always tough. It's a small area. And, there's not much space out there, but it's really good for working on those individual skills in those tight spots.
Yeah. Oh, you got something, Mikey?
Yeah, man. I was just gonna say, obviously, being a Mass kid, growing up in Billerica, you got to captain BC. What was it like? You know, youth hockey, growing up in Massachusetts, playing in this system, and then eventually graduating up into BC and playing for the Eagles. What did that mean to you? How did that turn you into the player you are today? And how what benefits did it give you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm so fortunate. Like you said, like being from Billerica when I was younger, I wanted to go to BC, and you end up working your way up there. You work your way through Cushing and Mass youth hockey or whatever, and you keep just building your game as you go, and then you're like, wow, I'm at BC. Like this is incredible, and there's so many. The great thing about that is so many great coaches to learn from, so many great players that that are pushing you and making you a better player, and a better person on and off the ice as well. So, and then you make the step and sign pro, and you're able to stick around your hometown, your home city, and it's unbelievable. And like I always tell everyone, I'm so lucky to be in this situation, and I know a lot of local kids would love to have that path that I've been on. So it's something I try to not take for granted and carry with me.
Yeah, so to caveat off that, how much of an honor was it to wear the C for BC and man, that's a huge honor, especially playing for such an elite school with such great tradition. What was that like? How much of an honor was that to you? And then also, what was it like playing for Coach York?
Yeah, that's another thing. You can't take that for granted too. I was so fortunate to be, to wear a letter at BC, and I just wanted to make sure I was being the best role model I could be for the rest of the guys in the room. Whether that's being vocal in the locker room, or it's working as hard as I can on the ice to set a good example. So that really, I think, matured me throughout my hockey career, getting that opportunity to be a captain at BC, and gave me some leadership experience that I still try to carry with me today. Playing for Coach York was unbelievable. Like that was like shell shocked when I walked in the locker room and got to play for the best college coach ever. He's just such an unbelievable person. Like the way he carries himself, the life lessons, and then on top of that, the hockey mind that he has is it's like an unstoppable force, and it speaks to the success that he's had over the years, just dominating college hockey. So it was such an honor to play for him, and I still reach out to him, and he reaches out to me, and it's always good to catch up with him. Got to get on the golf course with him soon.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How often do you play?
Golf?
Yeah.
I don't play too much. My game's in a bad place, but
Hey,
no,
that's all of us.
yeah. This summer I try to get out. It's nice. It's a good way to catch up with friends too, and
Yeah.
just kind of play around and whatnot. But yeah, it definitely needs to get better.
You're not alone, trust me.
Yeah.
Um, so it's kind of staying on that BC track. Obviously you had some unbelievable teammates: Matt Boldy, Alex Newhook, Mike Hardman, Oliver Wallstrom, Jack McBain, just to name a few. Do you still keep in contact with those guys? And what was it like playing with that level of skill? And yeah, do you still keep in contact with those guys?
Yeah. Some of them were actually here in Boston this past weekend, but so a lot of those guys were my roommates too. So, and I always say like the year Matt Boldy had, he had an unbelievable year. Like I'm not surprised at all. Like all those guys are just such good people and such good players too. And like, I'm not surprised to see the success they've been having at the, whether it is NHL, AHL level. They've been playing great, and it made going to the rink so fun because those guys are so competitive, and our practices were, just top notch with skill and how we're pushing each other. So, I mean, that sets you up to go into pro and be a little bit more ready for it because you're already playing against guys that are that competitive and that skilled. So yeah, I mean, it helped me a lot, and it was just it made the experience at BC that much better because those guys are just like top notch guys and made it so fun.
Yeah, you mentioned a lot of those guys being your buddy and obviously like your roommate. I was just watching the Behind the B episode about when you first signed your deal and you were still on campus and everything. How has life changed since then? Have you finally been able to kind of get off campus and find your own place? And what's up in like that adjustment?
Yeah, they kicked me out of the dorms, unfortunately. They wouldn't let me be in RA, but but yeah, no, it's been nice, living on your own now and being in an apartment. It's just that's the whole process of being a pro, and that's the big jump. You're living on your own. You're taking care of yourself on your own. You're not being surrounded by your team or whatnot, whatever it might be. But yeah, it's definitely changed. I definitely miss BC for sure. Those being in the dorm rooms with the guys and whatnot. But yeah, it's been great. Spent most of the year in Providence, as you guys know, and great city. Really enjoyed it there. Spent a ton of time with teammates there as well. We all lived pretty close together. But yeah, it's been great. Now in the city for this summer, and spent a little time in Billerica too, catching up with my family and whatnot. But it's been great. Yeah.
And then also I wanted to bring up when you finally found out that the Bruins were interested in signing you. What was that like? Obviously, being a childhood Bruins fan, like what was that experience like? Signing that first contract and getting on the ice with those guys.
Yeah, I feel like it didn't really hit me till this past summer, kind of, because I was just going in there. Well, obviously it was great. I was super fired up. It's a dream come true and whatnot. But I was just like kind of laser focused and just like a state of just dialed in,
Yeah.
So I was just trying to make sure I was gonna help the team and have an impact and help those guys out as much as I can. So I was like just staying super dialed in, and then in the summer I like talking with my family and whatnot, kind of thinking of the whole thing. It was like, wow, like pretty incredible that I got the opportunity to sign in Boston and stay home, play in front of family, friends, and have the people that have supported me like all through my hockey career be there, for my first game, and to go through this journey like and have them there is pretty cool.
Yeah, getting to share that kind of experience with, whether it was the coaches or just mentors growing up, having them be able to come and witness your first shift in the NHL, come watch you, excel in the national. I just wanted to ask too. Obviously, growing up being a Bruins fan, as we've said too, from the area, was there any, who was your favorite player growing up? Was there anybody, on the Bruins or any other teams in the NHL that you tried to, emulate your game after, or almost someone you looked up to as a role model?
Yeah, it was definitely Bergeron, as with everyone, right?
Yeah, yeah,
He, I played center mostly growing up. I played a little bit of wing now too, but um, you know, I try to replicate my game after his. But if I'm half the player he is, that's a good thing. But yeah, I just respect his 200-foot game, how he plays. He's so honest with the way he plays. He's good on both sides of the puck. He's such a good leader. There just he has so many great attributes, and so I've always looked up to him as a kid. He was always my favorite player and whatnot. So obviously going to the team, it was like incredible being able to have the chance to play with him, and then to now like get kind of a behind the scenes look at how he operates and why he's so good, and why the team's been so good, and how he leads, and how he leads at the front by leading the way, and being the perfect you know setting the perfect example, and doing all the right things. So it's yeah, I can't say enough. Is like really, really cool to get that opportunity before he retired. And he was super nice to me, and I would always be asking how my family's doing, and whatnot. He's always trying to form like a connection with every single player on the team, whether it's a call up or a new guy, or the guys that have been around for a while. So I really appreciated that. You definitely made me feel like very comfortable going in there, which makes it easier for me. So yeah, he's such a good guy.
Yeah, I mean, obviously with Bergeron retiring last week, I think it kind of shook the whole city of Boston and
yeah,
all of Massachusetts for that matter. And you just talked a lot about him on the ice, and just how he was such a model citizen off the ice. What are the biggest things that you're going to take with you that you learned from Bergie, um, for years to come in your own career?
Yeah, just the little things like there was different tendency. Like he was always one of the first. Being him and Marchand are one of the first people at the rink every day. And I was a young guy, obviously trying to show up early as well. And they would be, older veterans are showing up as soon as the young guys, and like that's just building culture, and there's no one better at that than Bergie. So it's just different stuff like that, how you treat people, like how he was, like I said, he made me feel welcomed. He made everyone on the team feel welcomed, and then he brings, he has that level of inclusiveness to him, and then he, is absolutely one of the most intense people with how he performs, and how he's vocal in the locker room. So that's different stuff that I'll definitely take with me, and I'm really happy I got a chance to play with him.
yeah, man. He literally, I don't think, and it's been said so many times, but I don't think you can handpick a better person
No,
to lead a team into a culture change, be a role model for the younger players on the team. Like, I'm just glad that this city was able to experience him and really, not take for granted what he meant to the organization. And it's awesome to hear, everything about how he treated the younger guys, how he treated the system, how he set an example for everybody. It's awesome. It's awesome.
yeah, no, for sure, and that's the reason why they've been on deep playoff runs, and whatnot, and we're able to win in 2011 too. So it starts from the front with the leadership, and those guys setting the example for sure.
Yeah, it goes to show even with guys that were never teammates with him and still had nothing but great things to say.
Yeah,
Obviously, they play all those clips. One for example, the um, when they're at the center dot with Tage Thompson and Patrice kind of talks to him. I don't know if you'd seen that, but
yeah,
it just kind of goes to show what kind of guy he is, and that's going to be a huge loss. But I wanted to bring up the your first career goal because I was just watching that and
Yeah.
behind the B, and they showed your family's reaction. And obviously,
awesome.
Freddie gave you a nice sauce, and he just signed that deal.
Yeah,
New deal today. What was that like scoring your first goal? Your family's reaction? It was so cool seeing, they were all emotional but so happy at the same time. What was that like getting your first goal at the Garden and your family's reaction?
Yeah, I feel like I like blacked out after that. Um, it was really cool. I didn't see my family's reaction until after the game, and that's where it kind of hit me, made me emotional. Just they've been with me through the whole thing, and I had a ton of friends there, and all the people that have helped me get to where I was, and um, I had so many text messages of people, showing they're saying, "Oh, I was there," whatever, and whatnot. So, the town of Billerica, there's a bunch of people from Billerica there and whatnot. Yeah, so it's just like I said earlier, it's just to be able to share that with them that made everything. That was everything for me. Because like I said, it takes a village to get there, and you go through a lot to get to that moment, and to give something back to them, and be able to have a great memory that'll last a lifetime is pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. I can't imagine that kind of feeling. So it's awesome that you got to experience that. But touching on that as well, so you played 11 games with the Bruins in 2021, 2022. What was it like stepping onto the ice for the first time at the Garden in front of the Boston fans? I'm sure a moment that you'd been dreaming of forever. And not only just Boston, but just reaching that level of professionalism where you're taking the ice for an NHL game. But the fact that it was in Boston, what was that moment like? If you can kind of take us through that.
Honestly, I thought I was going to be a little bit more like nervous and kind of like jittery going into it, but I was kind of like really relaxed and like kind of just kept telling myself that I was ready for the moment, and just to, it was just another game. So I just kind of went into it like just jacked up, excited,
Yeah.
and and yeah, like I said earlier too, I think I played with Coyle that game, and Coyle was like the nicest guy in the world. Just like we're having a day, like we're gonna be great today, like just communicate, like blah blah blah, like I'll be talking to you out there, like you're gonna do great, just play your game. That definitely calmed me down. Like I think he said that after warm ups to me or something like that too. Um, but yeah, that game was I think 8-1, the final
Yeah.
score.
Yeah, it
So
was a blowout. It was a blowout.
that kind of helps too. In
Yeah.
the season, right? We're kind of we can be a little bit more relaxed, like and just go out and just play hockey and compete. But yeah, the I just remember that like the building was so loud, the energy was crazy. So because it's kind of crazy, like being on like I was at a game earlier that season. Like I brought my nephew to a Bruins game. We were up like in the balcony, like just watching the game, and like to be a now like flip on the other side. I was like,
Yeah.
the energy in here is just unbelievable.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's
And
crazy.
I was in the building when you
That
scored.
is crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man, I was in the building when you scored, and yeah, that was me up in the balcony and a friggin'
Yeah.
beer. Like, man, I got a beer poured on me. It just when you scored and just that whole game, it was so loud and just so electric. It was an unbelievable moment. I think a lot of people knew that obviously you were a local guy, and like it must have been such a cool feeling to see, all the fans, know that you're a local guy and see you succeed.
Yeah, the support, like I said earlier, I had so many text messages after the game from family, friends, anyone that I played hockey with at any point, coaches and whatnot, and um, so it was pretty cool to see that many people reach out and show their support.
Yeah, so this offseason, you signed a 1-year deal as a restricted free agent. And last year you had a solid season, 13 goals, 17 assists. What areas of your game have you really been trying to focus on improving? And what are to caveat off that, what are some strengths that you think that you're also trying to build off of?
Yeah, I think like going into this summer, I've been trying to work on my skating, the individual skill stuff and whatnot, just, fine tuning some of that stuff. So you're a little bigger, faster, stronger, a little bit more poised with the puck and, trying to make a little bit more plays and whatnot. But I'm trying to play with some more physicality and, just play with a lot of pace. But yeah, I thought I had a really strong second half in Providence last year, and kind of was figuring out and adjusting to the pro style, and how many games it is too is a huge jump from college. So I felt like I was playing a really solid two-way game, because that's kind of what I take pride in, and being solid on the penalty kill, and and then just being like a power forward and getting my shots off and getting to the net and just being hard to play against. So, I was happy with how the year went in Prov. Obviously the result wasn't what we wanted in the end. Same with Boston, but there's always things to take away from it and come back hungry next year, so.
Yeah, for sure. So like, what are your expectations for this upcoming season? Obviously there's had a lot of people come and go off this roster, and a lot of moves have been made. What are your expectations for yourself as well as the team as a whole?
Yeah, I think like anyone, you're going into camp to try to make the team, and that's the mindset you should have, and you should be confident about it, and you should go and put the work in to give yourself the best chance. So that's where my head's at, and I'm excited. I feel like I've had a really good summer up to this point, and just keep building, and you see how it goes, and whatever happens. You go down to Providence, we hope to be the first one being called up, because you're on top of your game and playing well and whatnot. So, but yeah, expectations. I think for me, I just want to be solid. I want to, like I was saying earlier, have that two-way game that makes me extremely reliable, whether I'm, playing for Boston and, just being hard to play against, and being a force out there, and just trying to create some opportunities as well offensively too. So.
Yeah, man. So obviously you're a younger guy, much like us. So you're definitely on some social media, Twitter, Instagram, all that. Some of the fan base is kind of giving you a nickname, McLaughlin from Superbad.
Yeah.
What do you think about that nickname? Do you like it? Do you want something else? Like, what do you think about
that? I don't mind it at all.
Yeah, yeah.
It's kind of funny, I think.
Yeah. Have like your face is photoshopped on that famous fake ID. Like,
yeah, it's so funny. My friends, my PC friends, thought it was hilarious too. So,
that means they love you, man. So that's
you gotta laugh with it, right?
Yeah, have to.
You can't get upset about that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Well, man, I'd be remiss if I didn't give a shout out to Greg and Benny Thomas, obviously, for putting us in contact. Benny's a good friend of mine and played together at Oakmont before he went over to Cushing, or before he left for prep. I was just kind of that load that sat in front of the net and just hit whoever hit him. So, yeah, I wanted to give him a shout out. And again, thanks so much for coming on. We wish you the best of luck this season, and hopefully we can talk throughout the year, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Hey, thank you, Mark.
Awesome, man. Take care.